all hope is not lost. You could always reach wherever you want to be, no matter your age. All you need to do is to trust yourself that it can happen. Most of the times I see people, even friends, who are like, I want to be rich, I want to drive a car, but what are you doing towards it? Take off that hat of, oh, if I say it, I'll look like I'm showing off. If you don't say it, you'll be looked as somebody who did nothing. And it'll go in history that this girl is just one of us. She did nothing.
So thank you so much for joining us, for creating time and making sure that we enjoy the end of our World Youth Skills Day and the end of the week and the end of Friday with us. So why don't you start by introducing yourself and telling our audience a little bit about what you do. Over to you, Alice.
So my name is Alice Mensah and I'm in Ghana. What I do is I'm currently the marketing manager for Fido, an app that helps the underbanked with digital credit. And to be a marketing manager of a fintech startup, full of pressure, but it is also rewarding because you know that at the end of the day, you are impacting lives. I have a YouTube channel that I train people on digital marketing with the name Denali Digital, the same name as my handle. Sometimes too, I get offers to train others over the weekend, same on digital marketing. That is what I do. In terms of my educational background, I did IT in the University of Cape Coast, which is also in Ghana here. After that, I also did Chartered Institute of Marketing UK, just so that I could have some professional knowledge when it comes to marketing. So basically, that is me in one.
That's great. You in one, or we can say many in one, because it seems you do quite a lot. And that's great. It's commendable. It is exactly the kind of portfolio we're trying to showcase to our young people today, so they can see that real balance exists and you can pursue your dreams, you can pursue side hustles and still get to be prosperous in your industry, right?
Yeah, sure.
So you talk about fintech. For someone who is hearing fintech for the first time, how would you define fintech? What is fintech?
Fintech is just an abbreviation for financial technology. So you are given financial services, but not your everyday traditional means where you visit a bank, join a queue, fill a form, you know, that kind of thing. This time you're doing it through a mobile phone. You have your smartphone, you could get access to credit, you could save on your phone. So it's like you making things very easy and accessible to the everyday people. And also people that may not even qualify for credit. If you don't have collateral, nobody gives you anything. But because it is mobile, you use technology to access these kind of people and you can give them credit. So that is more of fintech.
That's lovely. And when we need someone to share skills and also train our young people, we know where to go to as far as fintech is concerned. No pressure, just saying, now that you already have a YouTube page. So Alice, I will continue to the next question. Given the background you've given us, it is quite commendable that you've done quite a bit in terms of building a personal brand and uplifting your career. I'm sure it's been a beautiful journey from the fresh look on your face. But share with us your story. You know, at the Storybook, we are all about stories. And let us know how you ended up in this field in particular.
So it is very funny how I ended up here. It wasn't even planned. It just happened. I read business in the secondary school. And my mom owns some shops in the market, so I know how to sell things very well. So that was where the focus was supposed to be. Then I wanted a program in the university. It was a business program. I didn't get it. So a friend said, why not try IT? I was like, IT? I don't know anything about it. But he said, oh, he's choosing it, so I should also choose. I said, okay, once I choose it, I'll also choose. So I chose it. And funny enough, when it came, I got the IT. I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? So I went to the university to pursue IT without even a laptop. Can you imagine?
Wow.
And being in a class where you see guys who know how to code already, and you are now even learning how to type. So you could imagine the gap. But I had to speed up because I realized that, hey, I've already chosen this. I have to make it work. So what I did was I looked for friends who were good, events. By then, I think Google was now trying to enter into the African market. So they had a lot of programs. So there was this program they did. I think it was a Google Day program, and I went. In fact, I had to travel like 4 hours to go for that program. And when I went, I met a white man who worked in Google. I can't even remember his name. He said, oh, he likes he likes the way I look and the way I'm affable. He thinks I'll be good for the Google Student Ambassadorship Program. I was like, what is that? He said, the application ends today. I was like, huh? Okay. I don't know about it, but I'm interested already. So he showed me how to apply, and they had to select only 2 people from the whole university, and guess what? I became Google's ambassador on campus. What do I know? Nothing. But I had to step in the shoes of the new position that I have, because it meant that I had to train people on Google products, YouTube, search, and things like that. So I had to always be in the cafe learning new things, learning about the documents that Google have shared with me for me to also train others with, and things like that. I was supposed to train people to participate in what they call Google Online Marketing Challenge, which is a global challenge where you take a real company and try to advertise them using digital marketing. Okay. So I formed a team. Although I was supposed to train others, I was like, I cannot partake in it. So I don't just train people. I want to partake in it. So I took a team of 2, went to look for a real estate company, and Google gave us, I think, $600 then to advertise the company. We did it, and out of the whole Ghana, I was part of the 8 teams that did well. We were sponsored by Google London to do a further training in Nigeria. I think first we went to Kenya, so I came to Nairobi to do my inauguration, my Google Ambassador inauguration in Nairobi, and then later for the Google Arts program, I was in Nigeria. Some of the Google London guys coming over to Nigeria to train us, and we wrote some advanced exams and got certified. I got my certification. One of the big telcos here needed a digital marketer. I happened to just tell a friend who worked there, like, hey, you know where I went to? I went to Nigeria for just, wait, training on what? I just said digital marketing. I said, we've been looking for a digital marketer for some time now. I was like, you are kidding me. I just came back from the training, and I went for the interview. After like 2 interviews, I was just hired. So I had to pack my bag and baggage from Cape Coast to Accra just so that I can start my work. And it was so fast and smooth. I just couldn't believe it. I became TGO's digital marketing specialist. It was a telco. After working there 2 years, I got other opportunities that maybe offered bigger salary. So I moved and I kept moving. I've been to a real estate company. I've been to a digital agency itself. And I'm in a fintech company. So that is how my story has been.
Wow. I know there's not enough time for us to go through your story step by step. And sometimes when we tell our own stories, we really simplify it, because as it is now, a lot of favor follows you. And a lot of, opportunities were there within. I'm thinking about the aspect of imposter syndrome, the aspect of being afraid because you went into a field that you didn't even think you had interest in. And then along the way, meeting people who believed in you, there is definitely something about you that sets you apart. Right?
Exactly.
And it may be an awkward conversation because sometimes it's easier for other people to see us than it is for us to see ourselves. So what do you think makes you stand out? What do you think that white man saw that made him want to pick you as a brand ambassador?
I think it was because I wasn't a shy person. Right. I'm a very affable person. So at the program, whilst everybody would sit down quietly, they said, main girl. And then, students would sit down quietly and just keep quiet. I just went out to people, hi, my name is Alice. What's your name? What do you do?
Right.
I was just being nice. And just being affable made me catch the eye of people who thought I was good enough to do that.
Okay. So you bring main character energy. You've talked about being open, putting yourself out there, right? Beyond having the skill. What other thing do you think young people should bring out, especially when it comes to talking about their journey? What other kind of character or personality trait have you seen is necessary for someone to express?
Sometimes we think it's all about learning something. You could learn a skill, but if nobody knows that you know the skill, you are stuck.
Right. Okay.
So it's about, there's an event going on here. Be there, show up. Don't always be in your corner. Try and network, okay? And then if you collect people's cards, contact them.
Right.
Hi. You just want to keep in touch because you don't know when there will be an opportunity for you.
Right.
I think that will be one. And also another thing that has helped me is I learn on the job a lot. I may not know everything, but once I'm given that role, it has to work. I have to make sure it works. So if, let's say, I'm doing advertisement campaign and I see a new label added to something and I've not seen it before, I will Google about it without anybody asking me to do, just to understand what is this new addition that they have added to this thing. And mostly, I may not need it during that time, but it will just happen that after some time, I'll need that same tool that I saw, let's say, months ago. It always works for me that way.
For me, what stands out is a very strong leadership skill, taking initiative, networking, getting to know people, showing up where you're needed, and also putting your light out there, putting your skills out there without applying shame to it. Because one of the experiences that I have a lot, especially interviewing women, is they apply a lot of shame to speaking about the beautiful things about them, the beautiful part of them. And ultimately, as you explain, it does limit the extent to which someone can support you.
Don't you just love stories? Stories shape how we understand the world, our place in it, and our ability to change it. We are all products of our backgrounds, perceptions, and experiences, which all form how we interpret the world. So we all have unique stories to share. What are we without stories? If you're a sucker for inspirational stories, you'll feel right at home at the Storybook. We're a creative enterprise with a social purpose to inspire, educate, mentor, entertain, and influence the youth in Africa to make informed decisions on their healing, growth, and development. Our message is simple. Every youth in Africa can attain the lasting change they desire in different aspects of their lives, and we want to support them in their journey. Messages delivered as stories can be up to 22 times more memorable than just facts. So, at the Storybook, we leverage the transformative power of storytelling. We can all agree that for change to be lifelong, it has to start in the mind. So we keep our stories unique, fun, engaging, and memorable. Just how the mind likes it. You too can join us to transform the lives of youth in Africa through stories. Every quarter, we run youth empowerment and mobilization projects through which businesses owned by young people in Africa are supported by the Storybook, either financially or through publicity. Nominate a young changemaker today by telling us how they've changed lives in your community. We also welcome partnerships and sponsorships. Furthermore, we accept stories under these categories all year round. Young and on fire. Note to younger self. And Dear Diary. To learn more about the categories and drop us your story for inspiration, visit our website www.thestorybook.whitneymwangi.com. So, that's our story. What's yours? Be sure to connect with us on social media at thestorybook_ENT on Instagram, The Storybook ENT on Facebook, at Storybook_ENT on Twitter. Let's keep the conversation going. We just can't wait to hear from you.
Thinking about the background you've shared on your journey specifically, what skills do you have to acquire or have you seen are necessary to acquire for you to build a great career specifically, let's say in the fintech industry without going too broadly, and also in the aspect of a personal brand? So there's the career section and then personal brand, right? Yeah.
Okay. So for me, the first thing is digital marketing skills, because I'm speaking as a marketer. Everything is online. But now even marketing is online, where you see more people online than you even see on TV, on radio. As a young person, this is an easy skill that you could learn.
Right.
Without necessarily even going to a school for it. You could learn it online. There are courses online. Even Google itself. It has this Google Digital Skills for Africa, a whole website dedicated to the African child to learn digital skills, which includes e-commerce, analytics, digital marketing. And so, unfortunately, some of our universities don't teach these things. And I am speaking from an IT perspective from the university. Nobody taught me digital marketing skills. It was just because I met these Google guys and they trained me to train others. And so I got the privilege to learn. But now it is all over. So you could learn that.
Right.
Also, for being in a fintech company, I am not in the tech department, so I don't code directly. So I would say that if you're a young person in Africa and you want to start a career, you could consider tech roles, back end, front end. You learn these codes and things like that. Yeah. And there will always be work for you, trust me. Even if you don't want to do full-time work and you want to do more like, how do they call it, a freelance, you could always get work to do. So those are the two main skills I would say you should acquire. Okay. And let's note that every tech company, they still need HR, they still need marketing, they still need customer service. If you are, some people by their nature are just scared of tech. There's nothing wrong with it. Whatever thing you want to do, pursue it well, but add a bit of a digital thing to it. So if it's HR, learn how to do it in a digital way, how you could recruit new people using digital software. If it is marketing, learn how to do it, not just your everyday radio, TV. How do we market digitally? So in every field you find yourself, try and see how you can make it better using digital software.
Right. I really like that because especially during and after the pandemic, there has been a very strong uptake of digital platforms beyond telemedicine and even making sure that we can communicate. A certain generation, I think our baby boomers have had to learn how to understand, to incorporate the digital aspect into what they do. If it's HR, as you mentioned, if it's finance, how can we be in lockdown at home and still be able to get things moving? And interestingly, the data I've come across is that past the pandemic, I think it was 78% increase in digital use across sectors. So you can imagine, I'm thinking about in the coming years, for you will need to take up so many other skills because you're already in the digital space now. What do you think is the future beyond digital? So I can tell you from the perspective of writing, the coming phase is going to focus a lot more on content that can be converted into video and audio because people are beginning to understand different kinds of audiences and their learning systems. So that's why I'm curious about the digital field and how does it look like for you?
For me, let me speak about the fintech field. So for now, if you've realized, there is this dynamism in the banking sector where even traditional banks are now creating apps. Okay. If you've realized, they will say, oh, don't worry, you don't need to come to the bank. If you want to save, you can just use your app and do this and do that. In the future, I will see that we may have banks that are strictly digital. You may not necessarily even have to go and enter into a banking hall. You could virtually do every transaction. So fintech will not be a term for only startups like us that are doing digital credit. Fintech will be a term for all financial institutions because you can't afford not to be on digital. People just want that comfortability, that accessibility of knowing that I don't have to walk to anywhere. I could be in the comfort of my home and still do what I got to do. I think that is it for the fintech space. For marketing too, it will get to a point. If all you know is traditional marketing, trust me, you won't get a job. People are moving online. See TikTok, it just came in, all the youth, they're all crazy about it. So if you are a company and you want to reach out to this youth and you are on TV, who will watch it? They are on TikTok. For the schools that are teaching marketing and all that, they would have to definitely incorporate digital marketing, everything that they teach their students.
Right. I like that. And that wave of banking systems moving into the digital space, fintech, for sure, is in Kenya. It's heavy in Kenya. And I see it being taken up in Ethiopia as well, because I'm Kenyan, but I stay in Ethiopia. And Ethiopia, it happens to be one of the most closed, I don't want to say societies, probably sectors, in terms of being open to foreign investment. But just recently, they've gotten into several partnerships to ensure that they introduce a technological approach to banking, money transfers, etc. So it speaks volumes to our continent, really, if we can do that. And this tells me that more money will be coming to you, Alice. So we'll keep you close, so that we make sure that we can go on a vacation with you.
I'll come to Ethiopia very soon, don't worry.
That would be great. We'll be happy to host you. I will be happy to host you in Ethiopia once you get there. Thanks so much for sharing with us your knowledge. It's been interesting to see how this works, how this journey has shaped you as a woman, as a young woman in this industry. Obviously, speak to the extent of your comfort.
I think that people just say that, oh, if you're a woman, you can't do this, you can't do that. Society puts you in a box and things like that. For me, it's been the opposite.
Right.
The fact that I'm a woman has opened a lot of doors for me. So, for example, the university that I went to, I'm not sure I was a better IT person than anybody. But the fact that I was a woman, possibly I was the only woman who applied, because all the women may be scared that, hey, I'm not up to the task and things like that. So it has actually helped me. Even in my first job, later I asked my hiring manager, why did you pick me? Because I had other people who were also good like myself applied. And she said, oh, the fact that I'm a woman also counted, because they were tired of seeing men all the time for these tech kind of roles, and that they liked the fact that a young woman came and then. So for me, let's leverage on our femininity to achieve more, rather than thinking that our femininity is what makes us not being chosen in other fields, and so we rather shy away from it. Trust me, even if you learn 10% of what the men know and you show up, they will definitely choose you, because they just love the fact that you're a woman and you are breaking the ice. So that is it for me. So I think what has really shaped me now is I feel that people just need to be trained, because for me, I had already told you my background, and you know that without the training from Google, I will not be where I am now. So I feel that other people just need to also get trained. And unfortunately, I can't speak for Kenya, I can't speak for Ethiopia, but here, our educational system is very archaic. You go to school and you're taught 1992 syllabus. you get the point. And everyday student who is coming to the university doesn't know that there are other things which are new that I have to learn. Some know, but others are from rural backgrounds that didn't even know that there are new things to learn. So for me, it has shaped me that anywhere I go, I try to impact. I've spoken on so many forums, so many platforms, and mostly free. Maybe just about 1% that has been a paid kind of thing, but mostly free, because I feel there is a young girl out there who just needs maybe just 10% of the knowledge I know in digital marketing and could start a whole career on her own. I feel I should be a teacher, because I like to teach. I just want people to know what I know, because if you know and you don't use it, it is better than you not knowing at all. At least you know it, so it's up to you to use it for what you have to use it for. That is what has shaped me, and from someone's training, and so I should be in every position to train others.
Okay, I really like that. And let's start with the aspect of you being a woman and allowing yourself to have a space at the table. I will tell you, even from my experience inviting guests, people that I know from a personal perspective, and I know they're doing great things, but having them to come on board and talk about what they do, it takes a lot of convincing compared to men. The men that will come, they don't even need a lot of time to prepare with, talking points, speeches, presentations. But for women, we sort of, we hold back. I see this even in different sectors. I mentioned earlier that I'm in the health sector. Some scholarships will indicate that we will allocate at least 20% to women, at least. Because they don't show up as much, right? As you rightfully mentioned. I like the aspect of generosity that you point out. Teaching is a beautiful gift in itself. I love it. Perhaps a trait that we can take out of this, you've pointed out, is the aspect of extending the table to others as an aspect of generosity. When you open the door to more people, you get to learn yourself also and to give back as you have been given, right? Is this something that is naturally in you, or is this an aspect that you've understood to really be beneficial for your career growth as a, perhaps a networking skill?
When I was a kid, I have never really trained anybody. So maybe even if it was to be in me, I wouldn't have known.
Okay.
But for what life has shown me along my journey, I've realized that people just need a helping hand and they can succeed. People just need someone to just coach them. Maybe if not for some people, I wouldn't be here. And so I think that has also helped me. I think in 2017, let me just share this example. By then, I had given birth and the child was just 8 months old. So I was at home and a friend called me and said that, hey Alice, GIZ, they're having this competition where they want people to come together and it's called upskill for girls. They're training girls and that whoever wins will go and represent the country in Germany. I have a baby. Okay, let's try this. So we tried, and because we were I think all three of us were part of the people that benefited from Google's training. So we were all aligned. So we came together, did our deck, went for a series of competition rounds, and then finally we were the second. And they were like, okay, they're choosing the first and the second to go to Germany to go and represent their country. So meaning we are going to represent Ghana. I was like, ooh. My team got a full trip to Germany in 2017. There we had to compete with other people from other countries, Philippines, Brazil. Unfortunately, my team didn't win, but we were I think the fourth or so, and I think the prizes were just going for first, second, third. So we were like, oh, so what are we going to do now? But we still came back and then trained. At least we went to about 3 universities, and then some two were like WhatsApp group, and it was an all-girls affair. We tried to teach girls digital marketing. And though we didn't win, we didn't get funding from GIZ because we weren't part of the top 3, but we still tried just because we saw how we have benefited from other people's training. And so we trained girls, about 300 girls in total.
That's very commendable in this aspect of training other young people, going across international spaces. What challenges have you experienced? Sometimes, talk about your dream, showcase your capability in front of international people.
The first one is a natural limitation, which is womanhood. For example, I had a baby, so I could have easily said, I'm breastfeeding, and so I wouldn't go. Sometimes you want to do much, but for example, when I was doing my CIM UK course, after my first level, I got pregnant. The stress of pregnancy added to the going to 1 year school and plus work, because I was working and schooling at the same time. I was like, no, I can't. So I had to, after the first level, which was I think level 4, I took my certificate and then I had to pause because I thought maybe I was doing too much and I may not be able to focus on all. Right. So these are natural things. You can't do anything about it. You're a woman, you get pregnant, and really, sometimes it is limiting. And another thing too that sometimes I have seen, which I don't think is really fair, is that people usually think that coding, when you do that is the main IT, like, hey, this girl can code, wow. For example, the GIZ events that I told you that we were the fourth, they said that we did brilliantly well. So they would give it to the person whose idea was about coding. Ours was about digital math. So I think that aspect of my field sometimes is overlooked because they prefer the hard stuff only. But what they refuse to realize is that many apps fail because all they are interested in is creating the app. Charlie, this guy is a tech guy. He can create a beautiful banking app that can solve ABC, or he can create this health app that can even stop corona and everything. But what they refuse to forget is that if you create the app and you don't market it, you are stuck. Your app will be on Play Store and nobody knows about it, and it will fail. In Africa, so many apps have failed because the owners are only interested in coding the app into existence, and that is what ends. Maybe it's high time people look at other aspects that also help in tech, which is like marketing, especially digitally marketing the product, so that you could reach out to the same people that will be interested in this kind of product that you are creating. So in my field, I think there's always been that bias towards if you code, you are the number 1. If you are a digital marketer, then you're number 2 or number 4. So that has been my challenge along the line.
This is a very interesting conversation because my background is in communication as well. I do health, but specifically communication, so health communication. And for the longest time, skills and backgrounds such as marketing, communications, PR was seen as administrative work. You go do the Facebook, social media, Twitter, take pictures, write, talking points, etc. But then as we move forward, people have come to see the importance of, yes, we can do the technical bit, but we need to learn how to talk about the technical bit that we are handling, right?
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know, how do you navigate this? For example, you're in a room where you can tell they're not saying it to you directly, but from the way the conversation is moving, you can tell they sort of look down upon, let's say, the digital marketing aspect, or they're not really prioritizing it in terms of funding or, scheduling it. How do you handle that within yourself and also express that?
So what I've now come to realize is that maybe we don't show our worth that much. So for example, yesterday, my fintech team, because I do digital marketing, I'm the one in charge of acquisition. An all-time high number of loans disbursed through the digital means. The normal Alice would have kept quiet because really I've done my job, so that is it. But I was like, no, I'm not going to make this slide.
Yes.
So I put it in the general marketing page and say, hey guys, did you know that yesterday was our all-time high ever since the company started in 2014? It's the biggest loan application ever in history. Then I put the number there. So now they come to appreciate, oh, okay, is that so? But ordinarily those days I would have kept quiet. So I have seen that you need to let people see your worth. It may look as if you are bragging, but hey, to hell with bragging. We want people to see what we are worth, so that next time when you are in the room, they'll see that it's not just you posting something on Facebook. Hey, you just go and take a photo and then post it somewhere. You are actually contributing to the growth of the business. So just as you would appreciate the tech guy who did the app, you would also appreciate me for bringing you that number of customers as an all-time breaker when it comes to milestone. But in me, initially, I would have just been quiet over it. Maybe when I go home and let's say I have a partner, I'll just go and complain. These guys, this is what they did to me. And then it would have ended there.
Right.
Okay? I want to show up. I want to make sure that you are seeing my contributions at least.
Right. Yeah, I like that. So sidestep if it's people looking down on you and bring value to the table. So far, it's been really interesting to listen to you, Alice. I just want to check the chat before I go to the last question. I see a comment from one of our followers, Ken. He says, great discussion. We have Cindy says, great insight, Alice. Speak about your wins, big and small. So she totally agrees with that. If you're listening to us or if you've just joined, we're with Alice from Ghana. She's talking to us about how she's thriving in fintech and digital marketing. You can share your questions in the chat and tell us where you're joining us from. So as we wind up, Alice, it's been a real pleasure speaking to you. And there's a number of youth joining us now, and those who will listen to this broadcast after we close down. What would you tell the youth in Africa as important tips to develop strategic skills to equip them for employment, decent work, entrepreneurship, as you have done, of course?
I would want to tell everybody, in fact, all the youth in Africa, that all hope is not lost. You could always reach wherever you want to be, no matter your age. All you need to do is to trust yourself that it can happen. And not just trust yourself, work towards that feeling. Most of the times I see people, even friends, who are like, I want to do this, I want to be rich, I want to drive a car. But what are you doing towards it? Are you disciplined to see through? So, for example, if there are courses that you have to do, even with me, I still learn. Recently, I saw some LinkedIn course somewhere without anybody asking me. I just did it, wrote my exams and passed. I just get to share it on LinkedIn that, hey, I just wrote this exams and passed. I could have been comfortable and say, hey, I use LinkedIn already, I'm okay with it, and so that would have been it. So for the young person, invest in yourself. Learn, keep learning, and even simpler than before. YouTube is there. You could just Google anything and you get videos to watch, step-by-step videos as to how to do everything. So please keep investing in yourself and then you will prosper. And for my females, I would say that step up. Be bold enough to step up. It will surprise you that it is even your community that will make them even choose you. Because the fact that you have stepped up alone is enough for them. Not to talk of adding the skills that you know, then it makes it even super for you. And so that is what I would tell them as well.
That's very lovely, Alice. I admire your boldness and your creativity in making simple things bring great things and build onto the objectives, not just of the organization, but also your own career growth as a person. It's been a real pleasure speaking to you. You can be sure next week people are in trouble from me, because I'll be stepping up. I'll be speaking boldly about what I am doing and what my organization is doing. There's no stopping as we head towards the end of 2022.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
It's been a real pleasure. I'm sure our youth will be energized and revigorated to pull up their socks. So there's one from Cindy. She asks, do you have any steps when someone wants to change careers? That's a really good question.
I don't have any steps, but maybe what I would say is that what I always tell some people, in fact, even today, I told someone that before you leave an old thing, make sure you have the new one secured.
I see.
Don't leave an old thing hoping that the new one will work. If not, you'll be frustrated. So if, let's say, you are doing medicine and you want to stop and start your own pharmacy, don't just stop and say, I'm coming to start my own pharmacy. Start little while you are still doing your medicine in the hospital, so that by the time your pharmacy is grown to a point that you can fully stop your medicine in the hospital to come on full time as, let's say, a pharmacy owner, there is something for you to hold on to. So that is what I always tell people. But I don't know if it is a step though, but that is the little nuggets that I tell people anytime they want to change from one thing to another.
And I do believe that it makes sense, because I mean, in this day and age, it can be so frustrating to be paddling new waters when you could have hold on to something that's familiar for a short while as you explore the other fields or the other career or the change that you want to make, as you've rightfully mentioned. We have a question from Paris. How do you speak on your wins without coming out as off-putting? So maybe you can give us a practical example, because it is a real issue for women. I think it comes easier for men, but please share with us.
I think it is a mental thing. When we talk about our success, we are showing off. Did it happen? Yes, it happened. Then you're not showing off.
Right.
Did I bring in the biggest loan applications ever yesterday? Yes, I did. So am I showing off? No, I'm just speaking to facts.
Right.
You get it? So let's take off that hat of, oh, if I say it, I'll look like I'm showing off. If you don't say it, you'll be looked at somebody who did nothing, and it'll go in history that this girl is just one of us. She did nothing. So don't even put that in your head that is what someone will think. You can't stop people from thinking what they want to think. I can't come and change a perception in your mind. If to you think me telling you what happened yesterday is bragging, that is up to you.
Okay.
It is not up to me to come and take it from your head. But also, when you are saying things, you say it respectfully. You don't go shading people.
Right.
So, for example, if you have, let's say, a general page, I don't know if it's WhatsApp or Slack or email that the whole company is in, sometimes you could let your boss say it for you. That is if your boss is aligned with you. Special kudos to Alice for doing this. But if your boss is that kind that he will never throw any light on you, throw your own light, my dear.
Throw your own light.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
I like that.
And even on LinkedIn, let's say you've done a course somewhere and you pass, put it there. It doesn't hurt.
Right.
Or even if you fail, sometimes, you know what, people have come to learn that failure should also be celebrated, because at least you took the step. So even if you didn't pass or you failed, the fact that you saw this course worthy to pursue is good enough to put on your page. I think that is it. And once you keep doing that, you'll be seen as a thought leader in whatever industry you find yourself. You may be good, but if you don't tell anybody that you are good, nobody knows.
I agree. We cannot light up our lamps and then put it under the bed to illuminate, I don't know, cockroaches or whatever insects are under the bed. So we have to shine our light. We have to show up. And we have to speak. I like the fact that you've really talked about language, because language is everything. You don't have to move up or shine your light by stepping on other people's shoulders or dimming other people's light, right? And what I really pick from you also is the intentions of your heart, which I think is a very necessary conversation, because the way you've explained it to us when you showcase what you've done, you're either building onto objectives of the company, you're appreciating your teammates, you're building onto something. You're trying to mentor younger women. It's not just the fact of just putting it out there so that people can see that you're gifted or great. Well,
Yeah, I get it.
I think it's important to set your intentions correctly. Yeah, thanks for highlighting the questions. I don't see if we have more. Cindy says, thank you, Alice. And Perry says, speak with facts. Love that. Thank you. Great conversation. So they're happy with their answers, I presume. And I don't know if you have more, if you have last remarks for our audience, Alice, before we let you go.
I think I have said it all. Naturally, anytime I have something to say, I say it. So I don't think there is anything else. I will just say that let's keep pushing. Let's keep pushing. And one thing I have come to realize in this life is that sometimes what you do today may not earn anything today, but the reward will come tomorrow in the future. I know you said we are rounding up, but let me just give this example. When I was in the university, I did this internship in the university's IT department. I did an internship in there. When I went, there is this software they used to do their website called Drupal. I didn't know anything about it, but I was like, hey, do you guys have tutorials about this Drupal thing? And one guy came to give me a book of tutorials. I was like, goodness, how am I going to finish learning all of it? He said, you said you want to learn, you will learn. Then I took it. I thought, okay, I'll take this. So every night before I sleep, I watch one video. And not just watch, I watch and practice what they are saying I should do. Every day I do one. And then I build on it to create my own website. So I ended up creating my own dating site, which never went up.
Wow.
But I created it on my laptop. So I want to show it to them, and they were like, wow, you were able to do it? Yes, you said I should learn, so I learned it. And the first thing was that I put it on my CV. I didn't even know why I put it there. I just put it there, Skills Drupal. Do you know that my first job, when later I asked why they picked me, they were like, oh, they saw Drupal on my CV. Aside the digital marketing, which Google trained me on, they saw Drupal. And the company's website is on Drupal. So though it was not a requirement, they were like, wow, this is an added advantage that they think I could bring to the table. I was like, really? I never knew this thing will work anywhere. I just learned it because I just found myself in an environment that uses that software. So I was like, let me just learn it. So the long and short of what I'm saying is that not everything you do today will see the day light today. It may come another time. And you'll be pleasantly surprised when it works well for you. So keep doing what you're doing. Put it everywhere. If you learn something, put it on a TV, put it on LinkedIn, put it on your WhatsApp status. Let the world know. Don't be shy about it. And somebody will definitely, it will knock somebody somewhere that, hey, we need this skill. And I just saw this girl putting this thing up. She is the match we are looking for. Okay, so that is what I'll say as a final word from me.
That's very lovely. Thank you so much, Alice. It was amazing. And I'm sure we're going to bring you on again sometime soon to encourage us and give us more insights into what you've learned. Ciao. So we're coming to Ghana to enjoy some plantain. What else do I know from Ghana? Gosh, I don't know the name. Plantain.
Oh, okay, don't worry. You come and it will give you some plantain and some fufu.
Fufu. We just hear fufu on TV.
Okay, you just come.
Okay.
I'll show you some nice places.
Okay. All right. Ciao. Take care.
Ciao. Bye-bye.
So, that's our story. What's yours? Be sure to connect with us on social media @thestorybook_.